Vidasi from College Station, Texas, welcoming all of you to Bhakti Sangha conference call. I thank all of you for attending this session. Please forgive me for interrupting your ecstatic chanting. I would like to read the 10 offenses to the holy name which are to be avoided, written by Srila Vyasadeva in Padma Purana. 1. To blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their life for propagating the holy name of the Lord. Second, to consider the name of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal or to be independent of the name of Lord Vishnu. Third, to disobey the order of the spiritual master. Fourth, to blaspheme the Vedic scriptures or scriptures in pursuance to the Vedic version. 5. To consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be an imagination. 6. To give some interpretation to the holy name of the Lord. 7. To commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name. 8. To consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities which are offered in Vedas as fruitive activity Karma Kanda. 9. To instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. 10. To not to have a complete faith in chanting of the holy name and to maintain material attachment even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to achieve the desired success of Krishna Prema. Once again, I thank everyone for joining today's Bhakti Sangha conference call. Before we move on to the Srimad Bhagavatam class, may I know who all joined this morning?
हरे कृष्ण विनीता गंधर्विका माता जी दंडवत प्रणाम शिल प्रभुपाद की जय गुरु महाराज की जय प्रीतिदासी from Charlotte. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Preeti Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Mataji, for joining every day, giving your association. Welcome to the call.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga and all the assembled devotees. This is Yashimati Priya Devi Dasi from Chicago.
Hare Krishna, Yeshumati Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining and giving your association. Welcome to the call.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Kandarika Mataji, all glories to the Prabhupada and Guru Maharajis. My humble obeisances to you and all the devotees. This is Krishna Kumari Devi Dasi from Raleigh. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Kumari Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining and giving your association. Welcome to the call, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Shama Gauri Devi Dasi from Charlotte. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Shama Gauri Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Mataji, for joining and giving your association. Welcome to the call. I like your Radhe Radhe scarf, Mataji.
Oh, thank you,
So,
Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Kandika Mataji, Dharma Pranam to you and all the devotees. All who wish to Prabhupada, all who wish to Guranga, all who wish to Assemble devotees. This is Mohini Lakshmi from Vikram.
Hare Krishna, Mohini Lakshmi Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining and giving your association every day. Welcome to the call. Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome to Bhakti Sangha conference call. Today, we are very fortunate to have His Grace Sanatana Dharma Prabhu to enlighten us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th Canto, 13th chapter, 29th verse. Before I hand over the call to Prabhuji, I request Param Bhavani Shama Mataji, please to take over from here and give a brief introduction about Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, dear Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you for the opportunity of this service. Give me 1 minute to pull up the yes. Okay. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Today, our speaker, His Grace Sanatana Dharma Prabhuji, is a brahmachari from ISKCON Pune. He is a disciple of His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj and has been practicing Krishna consciousness for more than 12 years. Prabhuji has studied B.Tech from NIT Trichy Prabhuji has worked as a senior manager in Tata Motors, Pune. His current services include area management and project development head at areas around Pune. He's a counselor, youth and corporate preacher, and congregation preacher, secretary at a Voice organization, and he is also a remote mentor for NVCC Pune Temple. Prabhuji knows many languages such as English, Hindi, Tamil, Malayalam, Bengali, Marathi, Telugu, and Japanese. His degrees include Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav, IDC, and teachers training courses. Here was a very brief introduction about Prabhuji. Over to you, dear Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji, for that brief introduction. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for joining and giving your valuable time and association this morning and enlightening us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam. I request everyone to please be on video. Even if you are showing fan, anything, Prabhuji is happy, but please put on your video. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for joining and giving us your association. We will try to be on video. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Is my voice very clear and audible? No problem?
Yes, Prabhuji, it's
Thank
good.
you. Thank you so much. So before we begin Srimad Bhagavatam, let us offer our prayers. Mangalacharan prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kada Mahyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Utah Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyati Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhobhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratushe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Taptakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangam langaiti girim. Yat kripatamaham vande paramananda madhavam. Shri Gurundinatarinam Shri Chaitanya Mishwaram. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Very happy, enthused, and delighted to be with all of you this. For me it's evening, for you it's morning. In the Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call, where we are going to discuss from the glorious subject matter of Srimad Bhagavatam. Hari Bol. Just clarifying, this is not my effulgence. This is external effulgence out here, because of which I'm trying to cover it. So I'm against the light, but this is the best facility that could be arranged. So let's not focus on visuals, let's focus on Vani. Hare Krishna. So we are discussing this particular chapter. I was fortunate to take one section even previously. So we're discussing this 7.13, the behavior of perfect persons, as I had previously tried to explain. So we saw that the first 10 verses, they talk about the qualities of a sannyasi. perfect person. The next 10 verses speak about the questions or inquiries, how Prahlad Maharaj, after becoming the king, goes and meets this Avadut Brahmana, who is none other than Dattatreya. We had seen this last time. So there's perfect. Who is a perfect person and who are the perfect persons both? We got to see that. And then comes this section where Avadut Brahmana, he recognizes the position of Prahlad Maharaj. He says, Prahlad, you know the answers to all the questions that you're asking me. Prahlad, yet you're showing a very amazing example by putting forward very good questions. So it takes one to know one. Just like Prahlad Maharaj being spiritually very advanced, he could understand the glorious position of Avadut Brahman. Similarly, Avadut Brahmana could very wonderfully understand the position of Prahlad Maharaj. And those both are complementing one another. Prahlad is asking very brilliant questions, and Avadut Brahmana is giving amazing answers, apt answers to questions of. So while responding to the answers, if we would want to summarize this section constituting of these 14 shlokas, right, this section alone, because our verse is verse number 29 that we're going to discuss. So this section speaks about miseries caused by materialistic activities and miseries caused due to greed, excessive greed, lobha. Yes. What is the problem in being a karmi and what is the problem in being, especially a karmi is one of the qualities which is unavoidable for him, is lobhi, one who is greedy. And karmi is mostly driven by kama. And sometimes the kama is satisfied, the satisfied kama becomes lobha. And when kama is not satisfied, it becomes as krodha, anger. And this number kama, krodhas, tata, lobha, these three are three wonderful gates. They are like three gates. Gates to lead to what place? Hellish planets. They are gates who lead to hell. Okay. So these are the brilliant instructions that is given by Avadut Brahman to Prahlad. So let us discuss the shloka number 29. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Shaiva Narottamam Daivim Saraswatim Vyasam Tatho Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna devotees. So once again, welcome everyone. So we are going to discuss from the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 13th, shloka number 29. This particular shloka is a very instructive analogy. Yes, the shloka is an analogy to make us realize a particular concept. So let's understand the analogy, which will automatically help us to bring better clarity to the concept that's being taught in this particular shloka by Avadut Brahman to Prahlad Maharaj. Jalam tad udbhavaischannam hitvagno jalakamyaya mrigatrishna upadhavit tathanyatra drikswatah. Jalam is water, tad udbhavaihi, by grass grown from that water. Channam, covered. Hitva, giving up. Agnyah, a foolish animal. Jalakamyaya, desiring to drink water. Mrigatrishnam, a mirage. Upadhavet, runs after. Tatha, similarly. Anyatra, somewhere else. Arthadrik, self-interested. Swataha, in himself. So even before going, I just got inspired to speak a story. Now the story is something that I often quote. However, I would like to quote it because it's very apt in this particular context, right? So once there was a person who was doing his jogging, and he was jogging and going. doing jogging, like people do, right? Morning jogging. They used to do that. So he was jogging and going around. That time he saw a person. He happened to see another person, and he saw that this person is frantically searching for something in his park, courtyard. He was trying to search, so he went by. Then he took a U-turn, and again he was coming by. He saw this person still frantically searching for something, breaking his head. So he felt some compassion upon this person, and he wanted to extend some help. So he went to this person. He said, "My dear gentleman," or in India they say Bhai Sahab. So I just wanted to ask you, you've been searching very frantically for something. You seem very desperate. Is there a possibility that I can extend my hand and help you? I can help you out in this situation? And he said, yes, yes, surely, please. I'm looking for my ring, engagement ring. Yes, which is a proof. Pramana. It's a pratyaksha pramana of me being married. So I'm looking for this ring. So my wife's going to arrive in some time, and if she doesn't find this ring, she'll kill me. So please help me, save my life. So he said, all right, I understand. Even I'm married, I know what it means. So I'll help you out. So they both of them started searching so much. And they were searching a lot, and still they could not find the ring. And he said, excuse me, mister. I just wanted to ask you, where was it that you dropped your ring? When was the last time you saw the ring? And then this person said that I dropped my ring last inside my house. Huh? Inside your house? I know, Dumbo, you're searching outside? He said, yes. Why the hell are you doing that? And he said, actually, there is a power cut inside. I don't have power inside the house. I anyway wish to search. So I'm searching it outside. Because I can't search it inside, so I'm searching for the ring outside. Now, I will give you 5 to 10 seconds. I request you all to please write some very wonderful adjectives describing this person. Not the one who's helping, the one who lost the ring and is looking outside. I'd like to hear some good words. Okay, don't repeat the words, right? Okay, it's fool. Okay, foolish. Adding 3 more letters. Ourselves. Okay, it's very relatable, I think, Lalitangi Mataji. Okay, someone else would like to try? Mad, silly, ignorant. Okay, please. These are all words not for this person. This is all words for us. Crazy. True. And why? We are going to find that very soon. Because the translation is going to reveal to us what is the relevance of this particular story in connection with us. Translation: just as a deer, because of ignorance, cannot see the water within a well covered by grass, but runs after water elsewhere. Yeah, because there's this well and there's grass overgrown, because of which the water is not visible. So the deer tries to go somewhere else. The living entity covered by the material body does not see the happiness within himself, but runs after happiness in the material world. I'll read it once again. Let's just think contemplatively and go through it. Just as a deer, because of ignorance, cannot see the water within a well covered by grass, but runs after water elsewhere, the living entity covered by the material body does not see the happiness within himself, but runs after the happiness in the material world. Hare Krishna. So this is a graphic analogy, yes, to describe the concept of how a living entity is allured by Maya. And thus, he is not turning inward for peace and happiness, but is looking and that's Maya is something which is the potency of Maya described here is the covering, which is called as avarnatmika. The covering potency of Maya is called avarnatmika, and there is one more potency of Maya which is called as prakshapatmika. So what is these two things? I'll explain. So we all must be watching movies, right? Before coming to Krishna consciousness. I'm not asking how many of us watch after coming to Krishna consciousness. I'm not asking that question. Well, I presume that before coming to Krishna consciousness, we were watching movies. And in movies, sometimes what happens is if a bunch of goons want to beat the protagonist, which they call in other words as the hero, they want to beat him up, and this guy is too strong, the hero is too strong. So what they do is they wait for him to come. They all hide. They're all in the hiding. They wait for that guy to come, and as soon as the hero comes, they put a blanket around him. And once they put a blanket around him, they start, bashing him left, right, center. After putting, and this guy has no clue. He's absolutely no clue where I am, who is beating me, nothing. But he's able to experience the beating. He's not able to see the world. He's not able to see who is beating him. He's able to see nothing. He's only able to experience the pain. And that's precisely what Maya does to all the living entities. The covering that the Maya does on the living entities, the external covering is called as avarnatmika, the covering of ignorance, the subtle body, the gross body. And after covering up the guy, bashing the guy left, right, center is prakshapatmika, beating, kicking. So at least these goons are punching. Maya gives kicks. Prabhupada, whenever he doesn't say the punch of Maya, he says the kick of Maya. Yes. If kick, properly well trained kick can deliver a harder blow than even the hands. So kicks of Maya. Yes. It's just something that it rhymed. I'm just trying it out. In the material world, the Jivatma looks for the kiss of Maya, but ultimately gets of the kicks of Maya. Hare Krishna. Illusion. He thinks he's going to get kicks from Maya, but he gets kicks from Maya. Okay. The whole analogy is about Mriga, Trishnam, Upadhavet. Upadhavet is to run after. Mriga is animal. Specifically, Prabhupada is referred to this animal as deer. Yes, deer. Because even a mirage is actually called as Mrigajal. And Mriga especially can refer to any animal, but particularly its Sanskrit refers to a deer. And Trishnam is the thirst. So we are all, the conditioned souls are compared to this thirsty deer who is running and wandering here and there. We are running here and there. For what? We are running for quenching that thirst. That thirst is there in all of us. So this is an accurate example, purported by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. This is an accurate example depicting how the living entity, because of lack of knowledge, runs after happiness outside his own self. Yes. So running for happiness outside one's own self is called as Maya or illusion. The very apt example of illusion or moha, definition I would say, is given that a person gets a feeling that this object, which is right here, right now in front of me, can satisfy me. This is called as moha or illusion. This right now can give me satisfaction. This is what I need right now. And thus the mriga, like jiva, runs after it. So there's a beautiful shloka in the Srimad Bhagavatam described by Karbhajana Muni. So Karbhajana is a Navayogendra who is speaking to Nimi Maharaj, and he very wonderfully quotes this verse. Tyaktva suduschaja surepshita raja lakshmim dharmishta arya vachasaya dagadaranyam maya mrigam daita ipsimatan vadhavat vande mahapurushate charanaravindam. So the last one is Vande. I offer my obeisances to the Mahapurusha at his lotus feet. Mahapurusha's lotus feet. Those lotus feet I offer my obeisances. And this particular Acharya has explained that this obeisances can be offered to, of course, the description is of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It can also be meant for Krishna, and it can also be meant for Sri Ramachandra. So, Tyaktva, they gave up Sudustyaja, that which is very difficult to give. Tyaktva Sudustyaja, giving up that which is most difficult. Surepshita Raja Lakshmi, to give up the Lakshmi. Krishna gave up the gopis and Srimati Radharani. Ramachandra gave up Mother Sita. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave up Vishnu Priya, his 14-year-old wife. Dharmishta Arya Vachasa Yadagatharanyam. And thus they stuck to their dharma because of Arya Vachasa, the vow taken. Arya is a very learned person's vow. It can refer to Dasharath Maharaj giving a vow. It can also refer to Krishna and taking the vow himself, or it can refer to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu being cursed by one of the Brahmanas who was not allowed to enter into his night Sankirtan. That Brahmana cursed Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that you will never find happiness in the Grahasthashram. And Mahaprabhu said, thank you so much. I don't want that. I want to give up everything and do what? Agad Aranyam, I want to go to the forest. Yes, and Maya Mrigam, Daita Bipsita Manmadhavat. Now all the conditioned souls here are compared to Maya Mrigam. Why? Prabhupada writes, who is always searching out for illusory enjoyment, such kind of moha. This can give me happiness. So they'll run from one place to another. Yes, Prabhupada would say dog is running on 4 legs, man is running on 4 wheels. But both are running for this kind of illusory enjoyment. So everyone is running. Anvadhavat. They're running. And this particular endeavor is called as Assat Trishna. Trishna is thirst. To be thirsty is natural. But having the thirst for that which is not worthy is called as Assat Trishna. Assat Trishna. Bhaktivinoda Thakur in the Harinam Chintamani mentions about this Assat Trishna as one of the items which is an item of ignorance which prevents one from chanting the holy name and taking shelter of the holy name properly. The first one is called as Assat Trishna. I'll just name the other 3. I will not explain. The second one is Tattva Vibhramaha. Not having proper knowledge of Swa Tattva Vibhramaha, Paratattva Vibhramaha. It's not knowing about oneself, not knowing about the Lord, or not knowing about one's sadhana properly. Tapan Mishra, he was having the sadhana Vibhrama. He didn't know what should I do. I have read so many scriptures. Bahu Shastra Bahu Vakya Chitta Hai Brahma. His intelligence has become bewildered. Right? He was not able to reach a proper conclusion what should be sadhana. That's when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu initiates him with the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So this is kind of Vibhramaha. The third one, that is Hridaya Daurbalya. Hridaya Daurbalyam is weakness of heart. Now this is precisely the situation that Arjuna was experiencing. He knew what is right, he knew what is wrong, yet he was unable to take a call. Even Karna had Hridaya Daurbalya. To give up. So Karna knew that, in case of Karna he had it more. Arjuna was giving a display of Hridaya Daurbalya. But Karna actually had it. He knew that Pandavas are right and Kauravas are wrong. Siding by Pandavas will definitely do 3 things. Number 1, it will most importantly give pleasure to Krishna. Why? Because Krishna wants it. Number 2, the Kauravas will not fight. Duryodhana, as soon as he comes to know, this is the case. Karna is not fighting on my side. He might call off the fight. And number 3, Karna would have become the king of the whole world. Not Yudhishthira Maharaj would have renounced his throne, relinquished his throne for Karna to take. But still he had this weakness of heart. He was attached to being a Danavira instead of being a Mahabhagavata. And finally, Aparad, offenses. Yes. So these 4 objects are mentioned in the Harinama Chintamani by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, which prevents a jiva from chanting the holy name purely. So Assat Trishna is an obstacle that is given here. So I would like to invite some examples from all of you. In our practical day-to-day life, as given that we are devotees, practicing devotees, chanting 16 rounds, what can be the Assat Trishna? Anybody would like to type and help me? Gossips. Assat Trishna. There is a thirst for gossiping. We have heard something, we are not sure if it's correct, with something grapevine, we just want to go and speak. And now, okay, we have heard, we want to spread it. Yes. Spreading gossip is like, stool. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Mataji, you know what I've got? I got a box of wonderful stool and I want to distribute it to you. Please take. That's what it is. Planning for work is necessity. It's a need. If you have to be in this world, we have to. Sharira yatra pichate. Krishna mentions in the 3.8 Bhagavad Gita, to maintain body, you need work. There's no problem. Mobile. That is Assat Trishna. If it's used properly, it's fine. But then how many of us do use properly? Addiction to social media. Yes, this is Assat Trishna, social media. Thirst for social media, gossiping, criticizing. Vaishnava Aparadha is another category. Subtly enjoying name and fame and being thirst to be on the top. Well, that is Assat Trishna. Very true. Pujala Pratishtha. YouTube, when we want to see YouTube lectures, other things, that is Assat Trishna. Thirst for other things come up. Though we have the knowledge of KC and are practicing somewhere, still we believe that things would become better in our materialistic lives. That is what is moha. That's precisely, it's called moha. This can give me enjoyment. Looking faults in others, yes. So Assat Trishna may also refer to, it may be watching movies or old songs which we relished at some point of time. So thirst for those songs, thirst for those movies, thirst for something that we liked before. Old tendencies do come up, right? That kind of thirst. There is Assat Trishna. For any kind of thirst we may have through our eyes, any of the Gyanendriyas having that thirst. Yeah, Assat Trishna. Well, this is wrong. To hunt for pleasure is natural. A soul is pleasure seeking. Yes, it is pleasure seeking. There's nothing wrong because soul is mere Satchidananda. Ananda is one of the components soul, and there's nothing wrong in hunting for pleasure, but we should have the real pleasure hunt. Yes. So we'll discuss something about the real pleasure hunt. Yes, going on to Prabhupada's section. Prabhupada says, when one understands his real identity as a spiritual being, he can understand the supreme spiritual being, Krishna, and the real happiness exchanged between Krishna and oneself. Wow. This is the genius of Prabhupada to put Bhagavad Gita 6.20 to 24 in that. So these 4 shlokas of Krishna, Prabhupada has put it in just 4 lines. It's one sentence but 4 lines. Prabhupada could put it. That's a genius. So this is the Sambandha. Yes. And then we understand the Sambandha properly. Eventually by doing Abhideya, the process to revive the Sambandha, we will definitely experience the rasa. The happiness exchange between Krishna and oneself is rasa. We experience the rasa. So now this is a very beautiful series of shloka which Prabhupada has summed up here. Yatra uparamate chittam niruddham yoga sevaya yatra chaivatmana atmanam pashyan atmani tushyati. So one's chitta, especially referring to the mind, uparamate, yes. Usually the mind looks for uparaman, some kind of, but nirudham, he's stopping that kind of enjoyment. The Assat Trishna is blocked. And he does yoga sevaya, he does the sadhana. Yatra chaivatmanatmanam, and his goal of sadhana is actually to connect to the self, the true self. And then Pashyan Atmani. He is able to block this Assat Trishna and go inwards instead of external, going inwards. Then he is able to see what? Atmani, the self, yeah, real identity. And thus he will experience Tushyati. This is Atmananda. What this is explained further. Sukham aityantikam yat tad buddhi grahyamati indriyam vitti yatra na chaivayam stitas chalati tatvatah. Yeah. And then one is able to, this particular shloka explains that how this person is able to experience the spiritual bliss. Yes, spiritual bliss, and his senses, buddhi grahyam atindriyam, his entire subtle body, gross body, everything is spiritualized at this point of time. Veti yatra na chaivayam stitas chalati tatvata, and he's able to now stay here in fixity. There's no more shaking here and there, no shaking left right. He's got this fixity. And once you attain this yam labdhva chaparam labam manyate nadikam tatah yasmin stito na dukkhena gurunapi vichalya. So once we attain this particular bliss, manyate nadikam tata, there is nothing more blissful than this experience of connecting to the self, which is to know one's real identity and also understanding Krishna as the Paramatma in heart. Correct? And yasmin stito na dukkhena, you go in the state of no dukkha. Gurunapi vichalyate, and even under very, very difficult Gurunapi's tough situations, api, even such tough situations, na vichalyate. We don't, na dukkhena na vichalyate. You never ever get disturbed. Right? I just wanted to show you all a video. Please watch this, and I'm going to ask you what you learned out of it. Hare Krishna, Hare
Prabhuji,
Krishna.
are you showing it from YouTube?
No video from YouTube. I know the norms. Even last time I was warned, so that much. These are all downloaded videos. It's not from YouTube. See this? Of course, don't see their purport. You just see the see the picture and the video. I didn't want you to focus on their purport, but what did you understand from this? Give your purports. Please don't read theirs. Saw that? Exactly, removing the ignorance. The whole thing was about removing that ignorance. So we are covered too, and once removed, the lotus within us will blossom. True, the Atma will blossom in its true glory. Bhukta bhoga parityakta drishta docha cha nityashah na ishwarasya shubham datte sve mahimni stitasya cha. So Kapila explains this, yes. So the anartha, the avaran or that covering is the anartha, which when we remove, that's called anartha nivritti, then the beautiful self will manifest. That's what is the purpose of me to show the video. Discover yourself. And then we will experience the true bliss. So the real bliss is going inwards, not outwards. And going inwards, we have to give up the Assat Trishna, because this is going to create more covering. And then the way to process to discover oneself, Cheto Darpana Marjanam, to wipe that dust of Assat Trishna and to see one's true glory. That is the chanting of the holy name, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. All right. So God realization and self-realization both come together. How? For example, it's night time. Okay, I'm just telling, it's night time. There's no electricity. There is a mirror and there is a person standing here. Absolutely no electricity and no light. Okay, I just showed night like this, but imagine it's Amavasya. There is no moon. Now, can this person see something, or he can see anything for that matter? No, he can see nothing. But when the sun rises, after the sun rises, then the person can see the sun as well as the person can see himself in the mirror. You can see both. So seeing oneself is called as self-realization. And seeing Krishna is when the sun arises, is called as God realization. So as spoken by Prabhupada, both are simultaneous process. Both happen simultaneously. Self-realization as well as God realization both occur simultaneously. When the sun rises, you can also see the sun and you see yourself. You see yourself. Both occur simultaneously. Right? So for this purpose, the knowledge has to dawn. And the process to revive that knowledge is by chanting the Harinam. Just chanting the holy name. Okay. Now the next section, Prabhupada has taken a different turn. Yes. It is very interesting to note how this verse points to the body's growth from the spirit soul. The modern materialistic scientists think that life grows from matter, but actually the fact is that matter grows from life. So that's why Prabhupada, I've named this small paragraph as Life Comes from Life. Yes, Prabhupada has written this book, Life Comes from Life. Once what happened was there was a discussion going on, a scientific discussion going on in Prabhupada's room with all his disciples, and they were all his own as Bhakti Swarup Damodar Maharaj and all other scientific disciples from BI, Bhaktivedanta Institute. They were all having this discussion, and some devotees felt that this is getting too scientific, and they just told Prabhupada, Prabhupada, can we have some kirtans? And Prabhupada said, what is this? This is also kirtan. Yes, what is this? This is kirtan. Yes, so what we are doing, that scientific discussion is also kirtan, and a devotee should definitely have some understanding of the scientific basis of explaining about the soul. Right? We should have some scientific knowledge. We may not go very deep, but we should at least have some kind of knowledge. So for that, I've just made a small attempt. If somebody says, oh, well, life came from chemicals, people say initially this is what they say. There was a primordial soup. Yes. And many years ago, millions of years ago, there was an asteroid that came and struck in this primordial soup, and then came the first organic material. And this organic material became, those of you know it, please type in the chat. Yes. Any idea what is this? It is called amoeba. Yes, amoeba. This became amoeba, the first unicellular organism, and then there was cell division, multiplication, then came multicellular organism, etc., etc. So what is the problem with this theory? The problem with this theory is, how many of you, sorry to ask this question, how many of you cook? Thank you. How many of you know how to make a soup? All right. Imagine that you made such very nice soup. Yes, very wonderful soup. And you invited me over to take, Prabhuji, please take this soup. Very nice. And you put your sweat and toil and a lot of hard work to get the soup. And after taking the soup, I don't comment anything. I drink the whole soup. And after that I said, oh, this soup came by chance. It just came. How will you feel? Oh, next time we'll never call you. You will feel highly offended. We never will call you. No, we're not going to call you again. You have no gratitude. No, you're not giving any credit to us. Right? Similarly, There should be somebody who's made the soup, even if this theory of soup is right. To make soup for one person, lot of effort. What if now all the participants of Bhakti Sangjapa meet together, cook soup for all? It will require more expertise. What to speak of cooking, making a soup for the Sadhu Sangha that happens in the US. This time it's in Florida, right? Orlando. So Sadhu Sangha will make for all the participants. There will be about 3,000 to 4,000 devotees. For everybody, there is soup. You have to do, Prabhu, you're in charge, or Mataji, you're in charge. How will that be? Oh, that will require more vessel like this. So this soup, who made this? Even to cook a soup like this, primordial soup, it may not be tasty, but still to make this soup, it requires a lot of intelligence. That is not appreciated, unfortunately, by the scientific world. Again, who created this asteroid? Right? And who enabled it, who propelled it to come and strike here? So this big who is never answered, unfortunately, in the scientific world. And then they say that life came from chemicals. But in this world, if you see, the experience is contrary. You will find that it's not that life comes from chemicals. Chemicals come from life. Let's look at trees. The trees, like orange trees, lemon trees, they give the citric fruits, citric vegetables, they give what? They give vitamin C. So is it chemicals coming from life or life coming from chemicals? Tree is living. It's only in 1940 the scientists discovered that the trees are living beings, only a few years back. But the Vedic texts have always stated Jalaja Navalakshani Stavaram Laksha Vimshati, 20 lakh living species of trees, shrubs, herbs, and all these immovable things. Living entities. They are categorized as Achara Vastu. Those cannot move, but they are still Achara Vastus are also Acharas are also living entities. They are respected as Jivas. Right? So from life comes chemicals. The living entity of a child, he emits saliva. The child is very, saliva. So that is what? Chemicals coming from a small child. The child releases other type of chemicals also. Not only child, even big grown-ups, everybody. We release chemicals from all directions. So we need to understand what the scientists did once is they actually made a machine. And that machine was made in such a way it exactly mimicked the human anatomy. Having the salivary glands, emitting saliva chemicals. Then there was esophagus, there was the stomach, there was bile juice, gastric juice, all varieties of juice secretion, because they wanted to create blood. What the scientists wanted to do? Create blood. And this experiment very, very pathetically, miserably failed. Despite making, so you see what kind of a system God has designed. You just have to put food from here and there is creation of blood, chemicals. So it is not that chemicals can come from any random raw matter, dead matter. No, they couldn't. They failed. What to speak of creating blood? They couldn't even create stool and urine, which is human excreta. So we cannot go. Man can never mimic God, right? So this living body, we have to understand, undergoes 6 changes, right? The living body undergoes 6 changes. First, there is birth. Then there is growth. Yes, growth happens. Then there is maintenance for some time. And then there is production of byproducts. Yes, then there is dwindling. And finally there is death. This represents better. Yeah. This is birth, growth, maintenance, reproduction, dwindling, death. The 6 phases of a living body. So this is a journey from womb to tomb, which every living body, not just human beings, every living body has to undergo. Dehinosmin yatha dehi kaumaram yauvanam jara tata dehantar praptir dhiras tatra namuhyati. I just wanted to show you one video. Hare Krishna. Aiwa. So this happens to all of us. Yes. So this detachment from bodily concept of life is a great sign of advancement in spiritual life. So that is why these truths have to be heard repeatedly. Second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. You have to read this. We have to be thorough in this. Prabhupada quoted the most quoted verses 2.13 Bhagavad Gita. Dehinosmin yatadehe, dehinosmin yatadehe. Because that's what will detach us from the bodily concept of life. Yeah. When we see the materialists versus transcendentalists, we go on reading Prabhupada's purport. The life or the spiritual soul is compared herein to water, from which clumps of matter grow in the form of grass. One who is ignorant of scientific knowledge of the spirit soul does not look inside the body to find happiness in the soul. Instead, he goes outside to search for happiness. Just as a deer without knowledge of water beneath the grass goes out to the desert to find water. Just wanted to show you one shloka. We all should see this, Nati. Prabhupada would always quote this shloka. It's Prahlad Maharaj speaking to Hiranyakashipu. Nate viduhu swarta gatim na Vishnu durashraya he bahirartamānina andaya thandir upagiyamanas tepi shatantram urudam nibadda. This is a shloka that really applies to our present situation. Very much it applies every time. But especially here, what happens? We just discuss this shloka. Prabhupada would often say, the rascal, they do not know. They do not know. What they do not know? Nate viduhu. They do not know. Swartha gatim hi Vishnu. We all have a real swartha. We should have the swartha of looking towards Vishnu, inwards. And when we do not know this, then durashrayaye, we take shelter of Maya. She's called durashraya. She's not a good shelter. She's not a good shelter to take. So he is a real shelter to take. Lotus feet of Lord. So durashraya bahir artha maninaha. Looking for interest outside. I think I will make better outside. I'll be outside. And what is happening? Andhaya thandir upagniya manas. Tepi shatantra murudam nibadda. So there is one blind man. He's actually blind and he's telling everyone, I'll show you the way. And thus all the other blind men are believing him and they're going behind him. And thus the blind leading the blind, everyone will fall into a ditch. That's what is happening. So this blind is like the mriga who's telling, oh, please run ahead, keep running. And the world is very nice. Yes, we have very good prospects. And then finally everyone is jumping down and dying. Hare Krishna. This is what happens, especially to many of the so-called today's new age movements and motivation speakers. They give a lot of motivation. So recently, I don't want to name one, there was a motivation speaker. He had millions of following. But the news came out that he's depressed now. Now his followers don't know what to do. He was motivating so many and he's so very depressed in life. Disappointed. And you are going to be depressed because you don't have the right scripts of life. You don't have the right scripts, we are going to be depressed. And then the followers, they all lost faith in him. So what is the goal of Krishna consciousness movement? The goal of Krishna consciousness movement is trying to remove the ignorance of misled human beings who are trying to find water outside the jurisdiction of life. Yeah. So don't look for pleasure outside, like that man whom we initially looked for. We told the story, right? We called him mad, we called him crazy, we called him a lunatic, foolish, because he was looking outside for the rasa. The rasa. So the Lord is called as Raso Vaisaha Rasam Hi Evayam Labdhva Anandi Bhavati. This is from Taittiriya Upanishad 2.7.1. Prabhupada quotes this verse, I've just elaborated it. When one understands the personality of Godhead, the reservoir of pleasure, Krishna, he actually becomes transcendently peaceful. Rasa Vaisaha. We realize Krishna, Rasamhi Evayam Labdhvanandi. It's only when we understand Krishna we become transcendently blissful. So this is the secret of becoming happy. Know Krishna. Yeah. And that's why Krishna also says, Prabhupada is quoting, Raso Hamapsu Kaunteya. I am the taste of water. Which means what? That any kind of rasa is rasa only when there is Krishna's presence. See, to quench one's thirst, one must taste water by association with Krishna. This is the Vedic injunction. We do not have that association with Krishna. Anything which is not having connection with Krishna, or anything that we don't see connection with Krishna, that's called Maya. And Maya cannot give us Maya can never quench our thirst. She can only make us more thirsty. Yes. It is like now a person, the animal who's chasing after the mirage, runs, and thinks there is water ahead. The animal jumps and doesn't get water. The animal swallows what? The animal swallows that hot sand which goes inside. That will further increase the thirst. And that's what is happening. The thirst will further increase. The more you take sand, the more you become thirsty. And the more we become miserable. But the solution is to drink that water. And what is that rasa that we have been gifted with? Nama Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Shuddho Nityamukto Abhinnatvam Nama Namino. Yes. Nama Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha. Yes, so this Krishna has very mercifully appeared in his promised Nama. There's a beautiful introduction to Harinam Chintamani. There, Harinam Chintamani, it was written that when Krishna went back, of course, there were several objectives that Krishna couldn't fulfill. We know that in Chaitanya Charitamrita, 3 internal, external reasons. 3rd and 4th chapter, Adi Leela, we read. But here, Bhaktivinoda Thakur describes that Krishna says, I am present as Jagannath. He thinks, I am present as Jagannath. And as presence as Jagannath, Jagannath awards 2 things. Jagannath gives you material happiness. You ask for material happiness, you give. That's why there's a huge queue. He gives material happiness easily. That is very sasta, cheap. Little more than that, which he very less awards, is liberation. Jagannath awards material happiness, which most of the population is interested in. And after they have sufficiently broken their teeth, after material enjoyment, they go to Jagannath. And then they ask for liberation. And that's what he gives it. But Krishna then says that I never ever, although I'm present as Jagannath to give liberation and happiness, still I am not able to give Jiva the prema. But this is the actual thirst of the Jiva. Jiva doesn't want pleasure. That is not something that's going to give him, that quench his thirst. Neither liberation is going to quench his thirst. What's going to quench his thirst is Nama only. Nama. Then Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains, I'll just take 2 minutes to explain that, then we'll go for question answers. The previous yugas, Satya, Treta, Dwapara, he very wonderfully explains. Now what is the Yuga Dharma in Satya? Please type. I forgot. You all can tell me. Yes, Krite Yad Dhyayato Vishnu. Dhyana. What about Treta Yuga? Tretayam Yajato Makhai. Sacrifices. Specifically the fire sacrifices. Elaborate fire sacrifices. And what about Dwapar Yuga? Dwapare Paricharyayam. Deity worship. Now this is directly from Bhaktivinoda Thakur. I am not speculating anything. He says that these process, what they do is they, 1, 2, 3, they purify the practitioner. And after this purification, then they get qualified to practice bhakti. That means they give liberation only. Bhuta prasannatma na shochati na kangshati. So after that, tamas sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labate param. Krishna thinks in these 3 yugas it was manageable. They have 1 lakh years, these people have 10,000 years, they have 1,000 years, no problem. But the Kali Yuga people, on paper they have 100 years. 100 years on what? On paper. Reality, nobody lives for 100 years. The age is only age of cheating. So even material nature is cheating. Nobody lives for 100 years. Because of one's own sinful activities, the life gets diminished. Yes? So 100 years is on paper. On paper only 100. In actuality, they may live close to somewhere like 70 is the expectancy, and it's reducing year after year. Because that's the influence of Kali. Aryur, Balashriya. Yes, everything is going to reduce. Anudinam Dharma. Everything is going to Anudinam. Every day this is reducing. Right? So now if I were to give them first a process for purification, then bhakti, it will be difficult. So I need to give them something, some way by which they reach here directly. Okay. And that is possible only if I incarnate as Nama. Only then I get this. So these people can reach much faster than these guys, because these people unfortunately don't have time. So I will come as Nama. So it's actually Nama that can truly satisfy the thirst of the Atma. And here also, after they get purified, they used to take Nama. So Krishna directly incarnated as Nama of Kali Kale Nama Rupa Krishna Avatar. That is the meaning of this. Why that shloka is there? It is because of this particular reason. He comes in Nama Rupa, so that jivas can directly get prema. So this is something that will satisfy us. The means and the destination is the same in bhakti. All right, I'll pause here. If any devotee has any questions, queries, comments, they're most welcome.
Hare Krishna, dear Prabhuji, thank you so much. Please accept my humble obeisances. So blissful class, and yeah, really eye-opening. Like when I just don't chant nicely, and everything, like during chanting, all the planning of work, everything, how to order food, like grocery, everything comes up when I chant. So yeah, that's I need to work on, and your class was a good reminder for me to work on my chanting. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Please feel free to raise hand, and if you have any question, you can ask Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I have one question that you mentioned in 4 things in Harinam Chintamani, where Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentioned. One is Assat Trishna that you explained, and there is another. The second one was I noted down Hridaya Daurbala and Aparad, but I missed the second one. What was?
Tattva Vibhramaha. Tattva Vibhramaha.
Oh,
Tattva is philosophy. So we lack the proper philosophy. We are confused. Vibhrama is confusion. Brahma means confusion, right? Vibhrama means very much confused. So there is no proper clarity in as to the philosophy of who we are, what's our sadhanas. So knowledge refers to sambandha, abhidaya, prayojan. These 3 things. So we're not very clear about the philosophy. Don't know the philosophy properly, especially about the sambandha gyan. So if that is clear, then everything falls in place.
And Prabhuji, what was the example you gave for this point?
I give the example of Tapan Mishra. He had read so many Shastras, but because he did not have a bona fide spiritual master, he was not clear as to what to do. I had given example of Tapan Mishra.
Gotcha, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Dear devotees. Hare Krishna, Nina Mataji. Please go ahead with your question.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances at your lotus feet, Prabhu. You're so inspirational. All your classes are so wonderful. Prabhuji, I mean, you keep doing your work so nicely. You keep inspiring us, but it's our mind, which we don't even know where exactly it exists scientifically. When we know where the brain exists, we know where the liver exists. But I try to think about mind, and it's so interesting, Prabhu. We were in every yuga, right? We were in Satya Yuga, we practiced meditation. We were in Treta Yuga, we were in Dwapar Yuga. So talk about deity. We've done it all, and now we are at the last minute at the Kali Yuga. I mean, what are the chances, Prabhu? I mean, we keep doing the nama. We sometimes we do it so much, but then some other materialistic work comes. I said, okay, the 16 rounds. Okay, let me just do 12. I'll do it at the later, the rest 4 in the afternoon, in the evening. We from Grihastas, we still don't get the taste. It's the mind, Prabhuji. I mean, and I know you and so all the monks. You keep on saying it's the mind, abhyas, do the abhyas, do the abhyas. The ruchi is not coming. I mean, the ruchi is, and when we do it, it's great, but it's so difficult, Prabhuji, to actually look inwards because there are so many sense perception outwards. I mean, you were showing the video, the body is old, the body gets old. Mine never gets old. Mine never learns. I keep looking for some tips and something. I mean, like, how can we put it? I mean, I speak with some experienced devotees who are chanting 16 rounds. However, then the ruchi still doesn't come to them. I mean, any words of wisdom, Prabhuji, that we can follow every day? Desperately seeking help.
Thank you. I've just pasted a lecture of Prabhupada. Now, this is something that gives me hope. We are on the same boat. Just giving you some assurance, we are all on the same boat. I'll just show a lecture of Srila Prabhupada. This is lecture on January 15th, 1971 at Allahabad, Prayagraj, 6.2.9 to 10. Because the whole process that is given to us is mantra. And what is the meaning of mantra? Manas trayate iti mantra, that which delivers the mind. As you rightly identified the cause. That's the whole conclusion of Avanti Brahman. After all his experiences in the 11th canto, he says it's the mind that's the root cause of everything. And the only way to get delivered from this mind is mantra. Right? So mantra is done in 3 stages. We do Nam, Apradnam. That's currently at least where I am on. Then there is Nam Abhas. And then there is Shuddhanam. And Prabhupada does describe this very wonderfully in this lecture. Aparad is, even in the stage of Aparadnam, what is recommended? Yes, although the mantra is full of offenses, but one sticks to the principle. What is the principle? Chant 16 rounds at least. It is the principle. We stick to this principle. And yes, there will be offenses. And offenses which are very nicely highlighted are Prajalpa, social media, and eating outside food cooked by non-devotees. These mainly we may commit as devotees. So we should definitely repent, be repentant, and go on chanting. So chant, repent, go on chanting. And the way our offenses during chanting is not considered is when we chant the Panchatattva mantra. So this Panchatattva will punch all the offenses. That's why they're called Panch Tattva. They give powerful punch and need be even kicks. No problem. So we chant this before every round. It's very simple. This is very hope giving. And then Prabhupada says, so simply be repentant, go on chant. Again, be repentant, go on chant. So Panch Tattva mantra, repentance, and chant. Go on chanting. Go on chanting. Even Shuddhanam, go on chanting. Go on chanting. Naturally, you will go on chanting. Then his love for Krishna will become manifest. And there is no more problem. Panchatattva are our hope to minimize the chanting, influence of chanting, and we go on chanting. That's the hope I find. That's the way we kick out the mind. So once a devotee asked Prabhupada that when I chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, the mind troubles. Where is the mind? What is the mind? You chant and you hear. Where is mind? So Prabhupada immediately cut him out. Because that's what Prabhupada meant by going on chanting. And any of the Shastras, any purport of Prabhupada, he would always say chant and hear. In order to hear, I just quote this. In order to hear, we have to be here. It's our hope in the present, not in the past or in the future. This is all our. I'm struggling. I may be sounding very instructive and all that. No. Even I am struggling. My japa is also struggle japa, but still, this lecture gives me hope. So we'll go on together. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol. Many thanks, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, dear Mataji, for asking wonderful question. That's from all of us. And thank you so much, Prabhuji, for giving some wonderful solution that Panchatattva mantra, punch our mind, then repentance, and then go on chanting. In the chat box, Prabhuji, Sundarupa Jagannath Prabhuji has asked you some questions. That Hare Krishna Mataji, so beautiful. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, so beautiful class while chanting. Lots of seva only comes in mind, which takes away time while doing a job. We are very focused. Our job will. Okay, that's for me probably. And so beautiful class while chanting the same thing. Okay. And Srinivasa Prabhuji has asked a question. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanabad Pranam. Could you please elaborate more on self-realization and God realization? As you said in the class, as it happened simultaneously. You gave the example of a man standing in front of the mirror in night and under the sun. Thank you. Prabhuji.
Yeah. Sure. I would like to comment on the second one as well as the Srinivas Prabhu's question. So more elaboration on self-realization and God realization together is, you will find that in the 6.20 to 24, that purport. We read this, right? Yam labdhva chaparam labham manyate nadikam tata. Because it has to be together. Yes. This particular series, we understand. I gave this analogy of sun. Yes, this was to make it possible. So it is a person directly going for the God. Now if you see the Jnani, he realizes the self by naiti process, negation. It's a very tedious process. He first meditates on this finger, an index finger, for a long time, for years together, and then he realizes, I am not this finger. Now let me take this finger. For a long time. Okay, I am not this finger. Then finally, after all fingers are over, I am not this hand. Then next hand. It's a very stupid process, we can say, naiti process. So there is no involvement of God here. And his understanding of Aham Brahmasmi is very theoretical. Getting? On the other hand, if you look at the personalists, the yogis, they dhyana vastita tad gatena manasa pashyanti yam yogino. Yes, the yogis, they focus on realizing God, and they automatically realize that they are not the body, they are the soul. Bhaktas, they directly render service to Krishna. They serve God, and this gives them realization that I am Krishna Das. Jivera Swarupa hoy, Nitira Krishna Das. My Swarupa is not just Atma, but it is Krishna Das. I am a servant of God. So get that realization dawns in their heart, which is much superior to the understanding of just body and soul. Getting it right? Prabhu, you can refer more per part. Why? That way you will understand what you're looking for. Yes, while chanting, job and seva only comes to mind. It's very natural. That happens. Because again, I quoted this even yesterday. I was giving a class. I did quote. I'll show this to all of you as well.
Prabhuji, Revati Priyamataji is saying you like Hare Krishna. May I please request Sanatana Dharma Prabhu email IT please?
I've served her already. Yeah. See, this is a very nice purpose. The Supreme Lord is the purest of the pure. Therefore, anyone who's constantly Krishna conscious is also the purest of the pure. The word smaran, remembering, is important. Remembrance of Krishna is not possible for the impure soul who has not practiced Krishna consciousness in devotional service. Yeah. Soul is not impure, but the chitta, the covering is impure. So this is the main reason that we are not able to remember Krishna. Kaliyavana could not capture Krishna. Why? Because he was sinful. The other Mother Yashoda could capture Krishna, of course, with little effort. She could capture Krishna. Why? Because she is completely a pure soul. So the very reason that we are not able to meditate, the mind goes, impurity attracts impurity, and purity attracts purity. The main reason we are not able to connect with Krishna during chanting or the Bhagavatam class is because of that impurity which is there. The way to remove the impurity is also, it is Krishna consciousness. We are not able to focus on chanting because of impurity, but the way to remove that impurity is chanting. So yena kirana prakarena, somehow or the other, mana Krishna nisheve. We have to capture Krishna. That's what even Narada says to Yudhishthira. Asmat kenapi upayena, do whatever it takes, but mana Krishna niveshet. Even Narada goes on to instruct that even if you are envious of Krishna, no problem. Become envious if it takes. Be fearful, like Kamsa, the path of Kamsa and Shishupal. It takes, but somehow or the other capture Krishna in the mind. So what we can do is put some conscious effort to hear the Mahamantra in a state of prayer. And how do we go to that capturing Krishna in that? That is when we offer prayer. We pray, Krishna, I'm very impure. I'm not able to capture you in my heart. I'm not able to chant. Please help me. Pray to Panch Tattva, pray to Krishna. We sing the prayers of Acharyas. Yes, that time we will definitely be in a good mood to chant. We are in a better state of mind. Prayers work. All right. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you all very much. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Bhakti Sangha Japa participants ki jai.
Jai. His Grace Sanatana Dharma Prabhuji.
Jai. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Wonderful class.
Thank you
As
so
always,
much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Parubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo
कृपा सिंधुभ्य एव च पतितानां
Jai.
पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो
Thank
नमः
you.
Radhe Radhe.
जय
Radhe Radhe Gauranga.
Nityananda.
Nityananda.
नित्यानंद
Thank you everyone for joining. We'll close the call for today. Hari